Hey everyone, Leo with Dreaming Tree, and welcome to the assembly video for our Santa gift card holder. So I'm actually doing a voiceover here because we had some audio issues. As you can see here, we've got the two main parts of the card, and right in the center there are the little slits where we're going to insert the gift card. So what we're going to do is we're going to put glue on the section there and glue this to the back. As you can see there, we have some rounded corners to help you with the positioning, and that's roughly how the whole mechanism works. And we want to make sure that we do not put any glue on the tabs, so you want to put glue around the tabs all the way out to the edge so we can begin applying the glue. I'm going to go all the way around. You don't want to put too much glue on, obviously, less is more. And I'm going to do one more little ring around the perimeter so I can spread that glue out nice and thin out to the edge so we have a nice crisp edge. And we're going to take the other part, and again, where we have those rounded corners, we want to match those up. So get that into place. Make sure that you do not go past where the fold mark is for the little mechanism where Santa will ultimately go. As you can see there, I had to bring it down just a little bit and press that down. Just make sure that everything is making good contact. And there you go. You can see it's folding over nicely. And press that down. Okay, and as you can see there, the tabs are nice and free moving. And I've got a nice clean seam there at the very edge. There's one little gap there, but it's not a problem because you can always take a little piece of scrap paper and throw a little bit of glue on the very edge of it and just kind of slide it in between the two layers if that happens to you. Just paint a little bit of glue in there and then just press down and hold in any little area that may need a little extra TLC. Okay, so that's basically the main mechanism for the card, and the rest of it's mostly just paper piecing. So we're definitely going to walk you through all of that. Just assembling Santa is just simply layering a bunch of little pieces together. So the first thing we're going to do, if you close this little flap, you'll notice that there are some score marks there, 4 of them, that essentially just match up with the inside portion of where the two little ribbon portions meet. So we're going to put some glue on this little faux ribbon portion. You can see that I ran this through an embossing machine as well. Okay, you're going to put that down using the little markers. It should be flush at the top, left, right, and bottom. So you can kind of use your finger to feel and make sure that it is in fact nice and flush. Okay, so that's good there. Next, we're going to put together the little belt buckle that includes a little white background, and that's going to be perfect for writing a little message. You can stamp there. If you're fancy enough and you know how to do it, you can use your machine to do a print to cut, print then cut. You can also use like a single line font maybe to write a message if you know how to do that. So we're going to put that right on top of the white piece. And then once we get that all together, we're going to glue it down onto the little flap that comes down. We're going to put it on the inside. So as they open up the gift card holder, it will also reveal not only the gift card but the message as well. And we'll just pop that into place. That's just going to get applied nice and centered on this piece, or on that section. Now remember to do this on the inside, not on the outside. Obviously, we already have an element on the outside, the little ribbon. And I'm using the little notches that are cut out for the gift card as sort of a focal point. There's a point on the buckle. You can use that as the center. Obviously, it's the center. So just match that up with the center of the little notches. And as you can see, folds nicely. And now it's time to put together our Santa. We're going to start off with the red layer, and on top of that will go the black layer. I'm going to just match it up. You can see there are little scallops for where his little pom-pom is going to be for his hat. You can use that as a guide to line that up. Throw a little bit of glue on there and position it into place. Okay, the next layer is going to be the skin tone color. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking a little bit of pink ink and just doing very, very light circles to kind of give the appearance of some flushed cheeks. Nice little rosy cheeks because Santa's been out in the cold and his cheeks are a little red. So just go very light. If you have a new ink pad, I would suggest dabbing it onto the actual ink and then just giving it a test run on a scrap piece of paper to make sure that it's not too much. You just want it to be very subtle. Then we'll flip this over, apply our glue, and position that into place. It's going to go right on top of that previous black piece that we just put down. It should fit exactly on top of it. The only thing that we have there is the cutouts for the eyes. Okay, next we're going to begin putting some of the facial features in place, I guess more like hair. The beard is going to go right there. You can see where that goes. We also have the top of the hat that's going to go there. Everything's going to fit together like a little puzzle piece. And there's a little pom-pom that's going to go on top of the hat, and we're going to actually use a little foam square to give that some dimension. So you can flip this around and begin applying glue to the beard. And I also inked the white glitter that we're using for the beard and the hat, as well as the cuffs, with a little bit of turquoise. Typically, I'll use turquoise on anything that's usually white, unless, of course, it calls for something else. But when we're doing a wintry project like this, turquoise is always a go-to for me. Okay, so that is nice and in place. We'll grab the top of the hat now and apply some glue to that. And that's, again, going to fit on just like a little puzzle piece. It should end up being flush up against the beard as well. Okay, next we're going to grab this little piece that's going to go just below the beard, and this is a continuation of the little ribbon that we have that we put down in the previous step. That again should fit like a little puzzle piece. And next we're going to grab the gloves. Those are going to go in place. As you can see, there's going to be a little bit of red still showing there. So we'll get that glued down. We'll do the same thing on the other side. And then we have two white glitter pieces that are part of his little suit. They're going to go right on top of that green piece. And again, that should fit like a little puzzle. Should be flush with the beard and sit perfectly on top of the red area with just that tiny little bit of red showing through. We're going to do the same thing with the other hand, obviously. And now we can put on the remaining parts here. Now you can see the inking definitely helps create separation between the different elements. In this case, the beard and the part of the suit that meets with the gloves. Without the inking, it might just kind of get lost and you won't see that there's two separate elements. So I definitely would recommend using some ink on this piece. We'll get the other one in place, and then we can work on the beard. Or I'm sorry, we can work on the mustache actually. So the mustache is made up of three pieces. The red piece is going to be the bottommost layer. We're going to put the black layer on top of that, and then the white layer. You have just a little bit of that black showing through. Okay, so we'll take the black layer, apply glue to the back, and pop it right on top of the red layer. I do like to pick up pieces like this instead of just using my table, just so I can run my fingers along the edges of everything to make sure everything's sitting accordingly and nice and flush. And now we'll finish this off by applying the white layer, the white glitter. As you can see, that also has a little bit of ink on it. And this is actually going to be foam squared onto the main part of Santa here. So we'll throw a couple little foam squares on the back of the pom-pom, and on the mustache we'll start in the center, put one off to the side, and another one. I don't think it's going to need 3 of them. That should be plenty. We'll peel off the backing and get both of these elements in place. You'll notice that there are a series of little markers there to help you with the positioning of his face, and the bottom part where his little mouth or tongue is should meet in that little valley where the beard is as well. And there you go. And then finally we'll peel the backing off of the little pom-pom and pop that on there. You do want to make sure that you rotate it and that it aligns correctly with the existing shadow layer there. I don't think I had it right the first time. There we go. Give it a little rotation and pop it into place. And you can see how just adding a few little pop dots really makes it look so much more impressive. Okay, so now that we have that done, what we're going to do is apply glue to just the section below the score mark there and adhere that to that section. So just make sure that you get good coverage on that entire piece, and I'll also be putting a little bit of glue, a little extra glue, right along where that score line is so that everything sits nice and flush and won't have a tendency to come pulling apart. There's that little line, and then I'll just take my finger and spread that out to the very edge. And just want to line that up. You can use the little ribbon portion in the center as well as the gloves as a focal point. Okay, and then once you have it in place, you can put it down flat and press and hold until it's fully set. And you can tuck the little flaps in the side and grab Santa, pop them over. Now, one other thing we're going to do to keep this closed is add a small little Velcro dot. Okay. So the Velcro dots come in, well, a large quantity. They're very small. You can probably get 100 of them for a few dollars. And we're going to take and apply one side of it onto the very end of that little appendage there, and then pull off the other half of the backing and close it up and press it down. Give that a second, and then as you pull it away, the other half of it will stay in place. So we have Velcro on both sides now. So when we close it, it will stay nice and closed. You've got your area for your gift card, and the gift card holder is pretty much done. Now, of course, with every project from Dreaming Tree, we also include a coordinating envelope. This one has a wonderful little ho 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 caption. You want to make sure that you fold and crease the score marks there on the 3 tabs. And we're going to begin by applying glue just to the bottom tab. Go pretty easy on the glue there, and I'm going to also spread that out to the very edge. And we'll take this piece, and you want to make sure that it's centered and also flush with the very bottom. Press that down into place, again making sure it's centered. Give that a few moments to set. You can pull it back and press down on the tab from the inside. And then we'll finish this off by applying glue to the 2 remaining tabs. We'll flip it over and do the other one. And before we close it up, I'm going to take and spread that glue out to the very edge so we have a nice crisp looking envelope. And grab the flap, flip it up, right up against the 2 tabs. Run your fingers along the very edges of both. And just give that a few moments to set. Okay, so the main part of the envelope is done here. Now we do have this little guy here that is going to kind of give this a nice little two-tone look. Okay, and to get that in place, we're actually going to apply the glue to this section instead of this because we don't know where not to put the glue on that piece. So let's go ahead and get the glue going here. I'm going to work some glue towards the bottom and along the edge. I'll spread that nice and thin with my fingers. And then don't worry about trying to get glue on every single little part of this, but these little pieces that are kind of free floating, you do want to get a little bit of glue on those so they don't go ripping away. And what I would suggest doing is just kind of taking your finger and thinning that out a little bit so it doesn't go shooting out once we press this down into place. Okay, so we'll grab this piece, got my texture side out. I'm going to take it and just kind of push it up against where the score line is, making sure that it's centered, and then just bring that down. And very gently, carefully, maybe just use the palm of your hand to press down on the little caption, and that should ensure that you get it nice and perfect. Okay, there you go. Beautiful. And that looks great. Okay. And let's see what else, if there's anything else. No, I think that's it for the envelope. And the card is pretty much done. As you can see here, we've given this a little bit of time to dry, so it'll fit in there nicely. Make sure that it's all the way in, and it closes beautifully. There we go. Okay, so as a little bonus here, we can go ahead and kind of show you how to make the little bow. And I'm actually going to use my favorite little tool for bow making, and that is my Bowdabra. Okay, so I'm just going to put this right here in the center, and I want the bow to end right about here, which if I go down, let's see, I think 2 inches is probably a little bit too big, so about 1.25 inches on each side from the center. Okay, so what we'll do, okay, so I'm going to take a little bit of my ribbon here, and let's see here, I'm going to give myself about, let's go from this side here. This is going to be about, I'd say about 12 inches or so for the center part. So I'm going to cut that. Okay. We're going to use this to wrap it all together. And then we'll take the rest of, then we can take the ribbon itself, and I'm going to leave a little bit for the tail. And then each little loop here, as I mentioned, I want about 1.25 inches. So you press that down until your loop, you can pull it out to about that spot. Okay, so that's one of my loops. I'll create another loop. Just grab it and pop it in there. Make sure that's out to about 1.25 inches. Press that down, and I'm going to do 3 loops. Okay, so I'll do that again. Press that down, make sure it goes out to about the same spot, about 1.25 inches. Could go a little bit less at this point. Same thing on this side. And I'll do another one, about 1.25 inches. And I'll do one more. So I have a tail here, and now I have a tail here. That's about 1.25 inches. You can take this little tool if you want. You can really squish it down so it stays in place. And then this first part that we put in, take that and tie it. Make sure it stays in the center. And just kind of bring that down and pull it nice and tight. And then when we remove it, we've got ourselves a beautiful little bow. And then we can kind of play with it to get it however we want. Now I have 2 tails on here, which is okay. You can always trim one. And actually, probably going to actually pull these back and just keep the bow and not keep the tails. Or you can leave it with the tails. So these 2 tails here naturally look like they hang in the place where I would want them, kind of hanging down. So I'm going to take and just cut these 2 off. Okay. Try to cut it as close to where the knot is as possible. Like that. And like that. Okay, and you can see from the other side, you've got that nice little area where it was tied off. Okay, just clean that up a little bit, kind of make those little loops look nice and full. It's never going to be picture perfect, but you can actually do a lot of twisting and kind of fluffing to make it look as good as possible. There we go. And I'll probably take and put some hot glue on this just to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. Okay, so you can see how nice that bow looks. And it's going to go right there, just like that. And again, probably just leave a little bit of a tail on it. I think that looks nice. So anyway, that is a quick little lesson on the bow dabber. Maybe I should do more videos on it. But again, if you are mailing this with the bow, it should still fit in there okay. It might be a little bulky. So you definitely, if you take it to the post office, you want to get it hand canceled so they don't run it through the machine. And you may even want to put this in a nice little padded envelope. That would be a good idea as well. Not necessary, but it will definitely preserve the aesthetic, make it look nice when it arrives at your destination. So that's going to do it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please take a moment and visit us on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. We're approaching a nice solid 50,000 subscribers, so thank you to each and every one of you. And if you make this or anything from our new bundle, I'd love to see it, and so would the rest of our community. So head over to your Facebook and do a search for Dreaming Tree Group, or you can just type in this little URL that you see here at the bottom of your screen. So I have a feeling that a lot of people are going to be super excited to receive gift cards this year, especially with the little DIY touch that you add to it. So hope you had fun, and as always, I look forward to crafting with you again. Hey, thanks for crafting along with me. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, check out some of our other videos, and also please consider hitting that subscribe button. And don't forget to visit our site and check out our free SVG section, where we have over 140 free SVG files complete with assembly videos. I look forward to crafting with you soon.